I'm about to speak to Richard Callender, who's an amazing personal trainer, fitness guru, and also presenter. He's been doing this for over 20 years, so this man is going to know a lot about his industry. But I'm fascinated to understand how he has pivoted, how the industry has moved forward, and what are his nuggets of gold that is going to come out of this period of time. And I know that I'm definitely going to feel motivated after this, after watching his Instagram and some of his training. My goodness, I'm ready for a shot of energy that is Richard. Thank you as ever, Dell, for letting me do such magical things such as interviewing Richard.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me here. The place is nice.
It's so nice. It's so nice. Where are you right now? What's that background I see?
This is my gym at home.
Oh my gosh, a gym. It's part of your industry, right? So you get to have a gym at home. This is a thing made of dreams.
Well, I tried to think, what do I want more? Do I want a cinema? Do I want a man cave or a gym? So I've tried to make it all three. So it's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, it's so lovely. Hopefully you heard. I'm so thrilled to be talking to you because we're in my final week of this series where I've been interviewing amazing founders and inspirational people like yourself. We haven't spoken before, and I'm so honoured to meet you. I'm wondering if you can tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you decided that building a business within fitness was what your diamond was what you were going to do on this planet.
Wow.
That little thing.
That little nugget. I guess it started. My family I come from a very, very close family, and I'm the youngest. And we've always been sport mad growing up. And what happened was going through school. It's one of those really weird stories. My whole life changed because of one teacher, which is why I'm so pro teaching, so pro trying to have people who are inspirational to like the youth, because my older brother was a fantastic athlete. Everyone knew my brother in the area. He was like the man. So I grew up in his shadow and my sister's shadow. But what happened is the weirdest thing. I had a teacher in my old school, my primary school, called Mr. DeWitt. And I remember sitting in my class one day. I was about 11 years old, and I was in my class. He walked in. He wasn't my teacher. He walked into Mr. Scott's class, and he said, "Can I speak to Mr. Richard Callender, please?" And I'm like, "This is a dude who ends people's lives at that age." You're like, I'm like, oh. And he said, "I'll speak to you, please." And he called me outside in the corridor, and he was like, "Is Robert your older brother?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir." And I was thinking, my heart was pounding. I was like, and he said, because my brother's an athlete, he said, "Can you run?" And so I guess this is what my autobiography would be called. "I don't know, sir." Because he said, "Can you run? Can you sprint?" "I don't know, sir." He said, "Tomorrow," it was a few days later, "we have the trials for the athletics team on the school field. I want you to come and attend." And I guess that's the rest is history, because I took part. I was with a year above me, the boys there, and I won. It's like one of those Forrest Gump moments where I was running and I was thinking, and I think it's out of pure fear. But after that, I was just known as the runner, the sprinter, and my family's line of sprinters continued. So that's how it happened. And all through school, my family are really big on education. My parents are very much in education. They were like, "You don't have that unless you have this." So it's very much education, education, education. I went through school, deputy head boy, been a good boy. You got
head girl over here. I get you.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, we're in a little gang, aren't we?
See, we're there. So I was a bit of a geek at school, but because of the athletics, it got me through. So I was able to hang with the cool kids for a while. And my whole life went that way. And it was obvious going through school that I was going to do something fitness or sport or teaching wise. And that's how it ended up.
And so then, you know, what then took you? So how has that journey been from being that kid, being that young man to now? And because basically you must have realized the power before it sort of became maybe not fashionable now. You know, I've been in small business land for the last nearly 20 years. It's only cool. Small businesses are sort of only really getting their sort of voice now heard, back in 2003 or 2, when I was doing this, it was all about TK Maxx. It must be the same little bit about fitness. Would you say that this sort of, you've been on this journey for over 20 years. Tell me about then why you decided, no, this really is going to be my profession. And was it also the power that you saw in our mental health that sort of drove you to making this your career?
I think from an early age, I knew I was going to teach. I've got lots of teachers in my family, left, right, and centre. So I thought I was going to teach.
Yeah.
But also, because I've been a bit of a geek, I love science. I used to excel at science and PE and so on. And so for me, it's like almost like biology was where I was going to go. So I ended up going to South Bank University and studying sports science biology. And so that's where the geek side of me came into it. But I knew I was going to teach. I just didn't know what. But as I got older, I was like, actually, I like people. And I think because so many people at a young age opened the doors for me in my athletics career, in all my sporting things, I thought I want to be that person to somebody else. And also the posters I had on my wall growing up were like Bruce Lee on my wall and Michael Jordan and people like that who inspired other people. And I was like, I want to be that dude. I want to be that person. And so it's a natural progression. Now, fitness, I'm 44. And so I've been doing this for I've been actually in the industry teaching for about 24 years now, 23, 24. And so, back then it wasn't necessarily cool. It was something we did because there was passion for it. There wasn't like the wealth and revenue and everything you can do now. And so it really was a passion project. I did fall into it. I knew what I wanted to do. My parents were behind me. I studied, got my qualifications in post training and sports therapy and everything else. But then I was unleashed onto the world as a young man.
Yeah.
And what they don't teach you is you need to have a bit of world experience, but to motivate people who may be twice your age and earn 3 times your salary.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you've got a little 23-year-old saying to someone who's a CEO of a company, you need to do this, eat this, live your life like that. And they're like, hold on, you're younger than my children. Why should I listen to you? If that makes sense. So I learned very, very quickly that you have to think fast on your feet and you have to be able to expand your horizons and learn from the people around. Because I think I grew up in this industry very, very quickly. And that's what's helped me going forward. So now where it's cool and everyone's trying to jump on the bandwagon, a lot of people are struggling because they don't have the foundation. They haven't taken the time to become a better version of themselves to handle what's coming their way, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. What a brilliant articulation of that. Because, we talk about it in business, it's if I think about, the 28-year-old that started not on the high street and the 43-year-old that finds herself at Holly & Co, it's the years of war scars. It's the ups and downs. It's like picking yourself up off the ground. It's being able to weather the storm. So I think it's fantastic. I call it like the scaffolding, those foundations.
Perfect.
Brilliant. Or another analogy is a tree. And if you build really strong roots, I sometimes use that analogy with a brand, it can weather storms. Those roots are deep and they're cemented in now. Whereas potentially at the beginning of our careers, they're not. We haven't got that resilience yet. You must have seen, though, in your industry, with especially this time like now, and the stark reminder of us needing to feel good, that has it been like a general understanding of fitness and the power of fitness on your mental health during this period? Have you seen the sort of a light bulb switch turn on for other people outside that might have before not been paying attention?
It's a bit of both. So from my side, what I've loved about social media is the fact that it's put fitness out there to the masses. It's got a lot of people interested, but at the same time, those light bulbs that have come on, there've been a lot of light bulbs that have gone out because people have seen or have a perception about what fitness is. So when you've got someone walking around all saying, I know, I'm going to show you how to do a squat today, and they're topless, or they're a size 10, and they're happy, and people are going, that's not me. I've got no correlation with that. I don't get it. It's not for me. But you got other people who are going, I'm inspired by that. I want to listen. So it swings and roundabouts. I think it's been great in the fact that it's shown that fitness, that we're only touching the absolute tip of the iceberg when it comes to health and fitness, because people aren't doing it. People don't also understand what health and fitness is. Quite simply, it's just eating better and moving more. Keep it as simple as that, and you win. It's when people confuse the message and go, it's not just that, it's what I eat, how I eat, when I should eat, how I should lift, what should I lift, what frequency, and it gets convoluted, and people then get paralysis through analysis, and they go, actually, I don't want to move, because I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And so during this whole lockdown thing, I've seen people's mental health been affected, I've seen their physical health, where people have tried to do too much, too soon, and maybe have burnt out. And I've seen people who haven't coped with not having their support systems around, which I totally understand, and they haven't had the mechanisms in place to support them, and they've struggled. And that comes from within the industry. I've seen some of my friends who are top trainers breaking down or struggling because they didn't have the foundations, or they didn't have the plan B or the plan C or the plan D in place for any eventuality. I mean, we didn't know this was coming. And I've had friends of mine say, oh, you're lucky because you've got a gym at home. I'm like, I'm not lucky. I chose to build this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's relevant now, and you think I'm lucky. That wasn't luck. I could have had, this could have been full of garden furniture and rubbish. I chose not.
Yeah.
And so when the change happened, I was ready. I was able to film online. I was able to work with Davina, work with my clients all around the world from here. This became my base, if that makes sense. So it's all about preparation.
It's so good. You know, I just literally came off a big meeting that was quite big for Holly and Co. And someone said, they were very lovely. They said, oh gosh, Holly, you've got a really interesting world coming your way next year. I said, yeah, but you know, I pitched that out 5 years ago. You know, I pitched that out 5 years. I have been a relentless rockfiler on this idea for 5 years, and then you're going to think that that just came about. And I think this is a really good message for people. You know, your gym was there because you sort of knew that you might need this is your profession, etc., and now you can call on it. And I think it's a really great tip for everybody out there that you know, things take time, and we might be in a hurry, but they take time to cement in. I'm interested, Richard, so you must have been, you know, more than ever, your industry was all about getting together, being physically in contact. More, you know, not more than others, but, you know, same as the music industry, let's say, or same as the events industry. You know, it was all about the physical connection, whereas some of us were more digital generally already. You've now, I've seen, looking at your Instagram, you've gone digital, right? And what do you think that this has done in terms of the experience and how people flow energy through digital means? Because a lot of people, lots of small businesses, they too either went online for the first time. It's been fantastic in whipping our asses into shape, hasn't it? Excuse the pun, even though you would do that, but I'm talking from the business point of view. You know, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But you know what I mean? It's got people digital. It's got people building their websites and doing what really they should have probably been doing before. But for you, it was different, wasn't there? There's a correlation between being with your trainer or being in a big group of people and working out. Tell me about this.
It's very different. I mean, so I'm used to teaching events or to classes, and potentially sometimes with like hundreds and hundreds of people.
Wow.
So you're on a stage, you're mic'd up, and the vibe in the room is tangible. And you get off and you're like goose pimples, and you're like, how lucky am I? And because you got that feedback from the class, you're like, how are we doing? The class like, hey. And you get to talk to Maud, you get to talk to Janet, you get to talk to Peter, go, how's the wife, how's the kids? You got that relationship. Once that's taken away, you have to adapt. And so I'm talking to a camera, the same as I am now. I'm talking into a screen, or I'm talking to a buttonhole, pinhole of a camera on a tablet. Yeah, I might be talking to a few thousand people who are doing the workouts with me, or a few hundred people. And the energy you have to give more. It's almost like, I mean, back in the old days when I used to work for Fitness First, we used to train PTs, and we used to say, you only get what you get, you only get back what you give. And so when you're talking to a camera, I've got to go, are we good? I'm talking to you. I've got to make you feel like I'm talking to you at home, wherever you are, or if you're in the park. I want you to go, I want you to run to the screen and hit an emoji. Now, I can't talk to you and go, hey, how you doing? Give you a high five. But if you can hit me the right emoji, I'm like, they're talking to me. I have a thing called, I say to people, make it rain. And I'll hit like the like button, and you see that the rains and all the.
Oh,
I'm like, make it rain. Yeah, I'm like, make it rain. Let me know you're okay. Hit a yes, a smiley face. Let me know. And so you have to ham it up. But what's happened is, I'm glad that this has happened in a way, because it's given back a bit of the entertainment from the industry that's been missing. Because at the beginning, you had like the
Okay.
Jane Fondas, you had all the step aerobics, you had a lot of fun and creativity and energy. And then this industry started to take itself a little bit too serious. And people came in and said, no, I've got a sports science degree. I'm a physiotherapist who now teaches classes. I want to make sure everything's biomechanically correct. And the fun went out. And people went, what? And class like Zumba came back in again. People went, hold on, I can dance again. Oh, this is fun. And you go, great. Because then people came back to the group fitness and had fun. They're smiling again. So now what's happening is people are at home being entertained again. And they're like, it's like a TV show. We're looking at screens, but we're being entertained while we keep fit. That was missing. So I'm hoping that post-lockdown, people maintain that connection, that entertainment element with their people and go, actually, get the point across, but package it differently. Because I will not be entertained by someone saying, Richard, do 6 squats. And a squat's a squat. But if you entertain me, if you make me laugh while I'm doing 6 squats, you've got me for life. And that's the same thing with teaching people online. You've got to have a connection now. And I'll tell you one thing that I've learned. I had people I was speaking to like 7, 8, 9 months ago who I was auditioning to work with me on my online platforms who weren't very competent, were a bit nervous in front of the camera. And I watch them now in their own lives, and they're like seasoned professionals because they've had to do 9 months or 6 to 9 months of multiple classes and developing new skills that they can keep for life. I'm like, you've upskilled yourself massively. Keep that. And it's the same with the industry. This is not a great situation, but you can turn it into a great situation because it's an avenue to reach more people, because more people have access to the Wi-Fi and internet and tablets than they do to gyms nearby. So talk to people in their own homes.
It's just such upskilling. That's it. And you're right. It's like upskilling, getting yourself, using this time to have something that after this time you're going to be very, very thankful to yourself for doing it. Now, I've got loads of questions. So a few comments. Amy Swan, yay, yes to teachers. Anna Brand Moss stories, a word from a teacher can change your life. I had a teacher who changed mine too. Amy Stevenson, what an amazing teacher. What was his name?
Mr. DeWitt. He passed away a few years ago, but Mr. DeWitt, and he changed my whole life, because without that moment, I would have never have known that I had the capability to run and then to win. And I got so used to winning. I got so used to having to train hard to win. It taught me a level of discipline. And it also showed me, because my dad, no matter what, my dad passed away last year, and he was this amazing man. But he was always there on those wet nights to take me training. If it was raining and cold on my paper rounds, he would take me around in the car. But he still said, I'm not here to do this for you, you do this. So it gave well, not just my dad, it gave my parents the opportunity to say, if you want to succeed, sacrifices. If you want to do these things, sacrifices. And so it taught me so much. And it might just be sport, it might be fitness, but as a result of that, my circle taught me so many other lessons.
You know what? You're right. Sacrificing. You know, that is one of the lessons, isn't it? Until you go through it. And it's very, very important, I would say, for us parents and, you know, to make sure our children sacrifice in order to get to where they want to get to. Because in business, if we think about the future when lots of people will be absolutely running their own businesses, it will probably be the new business, which is working for yourself. If you haven't had that in any way installed into yourself, you're going to find running your business incredibly difficult. Those times that you do not pay yourself for first, whatever, I call it like year zero. How long can you go without earning? You know, how long can you actually survive? And it's unless you've had that experience, you're going to find it very difficult. I've got a few more comments. 6 foot blonde 77, great handle. Richard has always had incredible energy and really does transfer perfectly on stage and then onto screen. The slow lanes, totally agree. Situation is hard at the moment, but changing and making the most of the time is the best attitude. I've also got a couple of questions for you. From Frankly Food, how can you inspire young disadvantaged boys to follow in your footsteps when they might have negative influences in their lives?
So here's a very important thing. My parents, I don't know if you know this, I'm black. Not everyone knows that. It's not a new thing. It's just very common. It's very current. It's very topical. But growing up, people have always had positive and negative influences. What you have to do is you have to surround yourself with the right people very early on. My parents didn't choose my friends for me, but they made the effort to work a bit harder and grow and sort of raise us in a very specific area. Okay, and so a lot of my friends are very mixed. I've got friends who are like Jewish, Muslim, Asian, you name it. It's a whole mixing pot. As a result of that, as we all grew up together, we had very similar role models, whether it be movie stars, comic heroes. I was a comic geek. Going forward to nowadays, people seem to be inspired by people who earn the most money or have the most followers. That's very different to what was back in the day. So my advice would be this. You've got to try and get the people to learn as much as they can about other people's journeys. They've got to appreciate that people might have come from the same place they have, but have attained a certain level in their life. No one wants to know about just the footballers who are earning £100,000 a week, because that's few and far between, or the pop stars that make it, because that's such a small amount. What they want to be knowing about is the person who lived 3 roads away, who's got an amazing job that they had to work hard for, who's kind, who's raising their children the right way, who has fun, and can buy the nice things that people go, wow. But they have to understand there's a pathway to that. It's what I call breadcrumbs. They have to have a clearly defined path of breadcrumbs. You know, like in the fairy tale?
Yes.
It's all about, I say to my clients, I say to the ladies, you have to leave breadcrumbs. So my breadcrumbs, fingers crossed, my daughter and for anyone who's following me is, no matter what I did in my life, and every time I failed, I got up and I looked for a door.
Yeah.
Because there are always doors around. If your head's down, you won't see the door open. If you walk through the door, leave some breadcrumbs. And if the breadcrumbs aren't there, tell people about your breadcrumbs so other people can follow your path. So when it comes to inspiring the youth, I go and talk at my old school every now and then. My sister's a head teacher. My sister's an associate head teacher. My other half a head teacher. I talk at schools and go to schools all the time because I want them to know that at ground level, I've been where you've been. I've been through the same things you have. And what parents fail to do is explain to their children about the path they took. Parents want to be seen as being superheroes. And they don't want their kids to see their weakness. What they need to be doing is telling their kids about their weaknesses and say, do you know what? Your mum and I, or your dad and I, whoever, we struggled, but we had to overcome this to get to this, to overcome this to get to this. My parents tell me all the time how my mum came from Jamaica, my dad came from Barbados. They came to England with nothing, yet they built enough of a foundation for us kids to have, I'm going to say a great life. It's like the Cosby Show in our house. It's just fun. And my dad worked his butt off. My mum worked her butt off to the point where they were able to build a house back home in the West Indies and go backwards and forwards. And that's as well as raising all of us children to have our own careers. And you go, actually, because they told us about their hardship, I thought if you can do it, I can do it. I can't whine about being tired sometimes when I'm thinking my parents might have had to work 2 jobs back in the day. And there's a lot more racism back then. I'm going, actually, I can't complain about being tired all the time. Yeah, I'm tired, but they did it. And so I've got to follow their breadcrumbs. So my advice would be, if you've got the youth come through, let them know about your trials and tribulations. Don't try and hide it. Let them know the harsh truth so they can follow your path and try and be better.
Breadcrumbs. Never heard that, Richard. Now going to think of you all the time because
please do.
It's just a beautiful thing that we can think about with this great question about disadvantaged kids and boys specifically, but also businesses. When we break ceilings, when we do things, how can we leave that breadcrumb, helping other people understand where we got to? Another question I have for you, lots of comments coming in. Anna Brand Stories Moss, I'd love to know how Richard makes fitness a discipline or habit. I self-sabotage all the time with my fitness.
It sounds strange. Don't think I love fitness as in doing the fitness, but I brush my teeth every day. So fitness to me is the same kind of habit. Does that make sense? You don't make up and go,
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not going to brush my hair today. Oh, no, I'm not going to brush my hair or brush my teeth. I'm not going to do that. Put your clothes on. It's a habit. So for me, moving is just a habit. I might not always train in the gym, but moving is my habit. Once you get into a habit, you go, great. And also it's got to be doubled down on by having a goal, a specific goal. People go, oh yeah, you're in shape because you're a personal trainer. that has no relevance. My ability to teach you and coach you is what's up here, not what's down here. We're not competing in the gym. I'm trying to coach you, trying to inspire you to be better at your job. So it's what's up here. So if I'm in shape, it's because I choose to be in shape. It's because I want to work hard in the gym or make sacrifices with my nutrition to make sure I feel a certain way. If you keep sabotaging, as I say to everyone, you've got to look at how bad you really want something. And if you set your target too far ahead that you can't see the ability to get there, you keep hearing people talk about small goals. It's the truth. Just go 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
But also listen to people around you. Look in the mirror, look on the scales, listen to what people say. Take everything they're giving you and use that as fuel. When people say, Richard, you're looking good, I'm like, thank you. I'm not great at taking compliments, but I store that. And I go, right, what am I doing right now that's allowing me to be like that? Right, I'm going to do it more often because I like feeling like this.
Yeah.
If people are like, hey, Richard, man, you're looking a bit tubby, I'm like, okay, noted. And a little switch goes off my head where I go, bit tubby, eh? Bit tubby? I'll show you.
I really doubt you're a bit. I mean, I want to even know what your bit tubby is, because I'm just not going to buy it. I'm just going to call you on that. You're a little bit tubby. You're a little bit tubby. I can beat your tubby. But I
was like, oh, bring it, girl, bring it.
But I've got so many questions, comments coming in. So you basically, lots of people have turned digital, and actually it's fantastic. So, you see events, Fern Cotton did her Happy Place and she went digital, you're digital, we're all going digital, blah, blah, blah. What do you think is going to happen, though, on the other side? Because I think there's going to be an element where we're going to learn some really cool things for our brands, and we're going to retain that after, whatever after means. But do you think there's going to be a sense of coming back? Because I would say we can't lose the fact that we're humans. And do you think that we're going to return back to group fitness classes, return back to those things? Or do you think potentially a switch actually has gone off generally, which is going to make us more isolated? Because that's my fear, by the way. My fear is that this is all a bit convenient as well. That even though we don't want to say this, my nature is that so many people I speak to say, I'm spending more time at home. I'm actually doing more, but I'm just more isolated. And actually it means I can do more. I'm not commuting. I'm not, I'll do a class in the morning, but they're doing their class at home digitally. What's your take on all of that?
So, I mean, as a percentage, I can't give you the exact percentage, but of the UK that were working out, moving, exercising regularly, it was like less than 5%, let's be honest. Okay?
Yeah.
Less than 5% of the population. If through lockdown and everything else we've gone, if it goes to a solid 5, 6, 7, 8% of people, it's still a lot more people moving, exercising, and being aware. I think there's going to be a lot of people who, the groundswell will be, people who were in gyms before will probably go back to gyms. Because some people are going to go, I missed that. I missed the interaction, the seeing people, seeing my friends. And don't forget, gyms are mini communities. I mean, when you're away from your community, as much as it's nice to be on your own and isolated, it's nice to be part of a community.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people are going to go, I like this, but I mean, look how many people have gone straight back to the pubs. People who didn't even go to the pubs before are going, it's an outlet, I'm taking it.
Yes.
So I think when the gyms reopen and it's comfortable and it's safe, people go back there. But I think you're also going to have a lot of people who go, actually, I can do this fitness lark. I'm not a gym person, but I'm going to keep doing it from home because it fits into my lifestyle. Yes. I'll keep that. I think for small operators, PTs, anyone in the industry, and also other small businesses, assume that people are going to want to do a bit of both. It's like anything. It might be 80-20, it might be 70-30, but I think somewhere along the line, people can go, actually, it's convenient for me to do this. I mean, I've got personal training clients right now who I'm saying, once it's over, are we going back to face-to-face? They're like, no, probably stay out of this. I'm like, great, because it saves my travel. It saves them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? People forget that, because I've got to drive into London. I've got to pay congestion charge and park. Whereas here, I can go client almost back-to-back, and it's the time it takes me to go, bye-bye, beep, boop, and call the next one. There's no stuff. And so for me as a trainer, and for me as a small business, if I look at where the trends are, I should be able to maximize it by being with people, the same as people going to gyms and also doing your workouts at home. But I think people are going to have a blend between both.
Yeah. And I think, great point. If your community, if they probably want to go back to it, they were always going to go back to it. What you're talking about is the engagement of those who are never doing it. So, you know, if you're a small business right now and you've gained a load of customers, maybe doing experiences, or you're doing craft, or you're doing cookery, or all those sorts of things. And I love how open you were with that, your community saying, so do you want me to do this live or not? And they're saying, actually, no. It allows you as a small business to plan what your future is, have that commitment from them. Similarly, if anyone else is doing that, you know, asking your community, because it could be it's the new group that you've engaged with. Yeah, it's that new group of people. So when we think about small businesses, and God, the news is dire out there. And so I'm not doing like a blanket sort of statement here, but a lot of the community I'm talking to, especially during those first 4 months, you know, we're doing Christmas every day. You know, these small businesses, so some industries have done incredibly well, and it's what we learn about that period of time and how we replicate it. And potentially we do have to rip up the rule book a bit from before, right? Maybe even in your industry, you know, if that 5% you said, let's say it grew to 25% because of digital. So digital wasn't a bad thing. Maybe potentially, you know, and that's maybe why we've got to all rewire a little bit, where it's not always bad to be on this screen. No,
because the thing is, though, we know it's coming. We knew it was coming. As soon as people were able to wear their phones on their watches, their watch on their phones and so on, or talk to people on the screen, you knew it was going to happen. So why are we trying to kid ourselves? It's only a matter of time before I'm in your home as a holographic image walking around you. Yeah. So we knew it was coming. It's just that people were so hesitant to do it. What lockdown has done is it's forced us to go forward 2, 3, 4, 5 years and go, right, this is the new normal. Now, mentioning about the community, if you're doing group classes or creating a community online, as for any shop, what you should be doing is you should be thinking, I need to engage with my customers. I should be engaging with my clients. Now I've got them engaged, I should be making sure I'm communicating with them on a regular basis so we keep this rapport. And once you keep that rapport going, once people can meet face to face, you should be saying, okay, let's do something together so that we're not keeping this distance. So from a fitness point of view, for example, I've got online classes here, there, and everywhere. As soon as it's safe to, I'm going to be saying to everyone, come to my fitness event. And those people you've been working out with, who you've seen as a little dot in a Zoom workout, or as just a number in a Facebook or Instagram Live, why don't we all come together and create a new community? Those people go, oh, I've been working out with Richard for 6 months, or James for 7 months. That you create new communities. If brands and businesses start thinking more about trying to garner relationships with people rather than just a credit system or numbers, they'll do better. I mean, there's some fitness companies out there who've done very little, and they're kind of hoping that this passes quickly, they can carry on. No, because if this carries on for any longer, your business is gone, because people have built relationships with other individuals now and other companies who've done more. So some of the big companies who've gone, no, we'll do a few little things here and there just to keep us ticking over to everyone's back in the gyms. They're being overtaken by the small gym owner who's converted their garage into a whole gym experience with flashing lights and glitter balls, and they're having fun. And people are going, it's my Tuesday night doing Zumba, or it's my Wednesday night doing a combat class. Yeah. They've got a community already.
It's so, I mean, I talk about it, Rich, it's emotional marketing. You know, it's the power of emotional commerce. And actually a lot of businesses have never really understood that because they've never needed to understand it. And actually it was what small businesses did by their very nature, always at the beginning. And then as you grow as a company, you can't scale that necessarily unless it's come from the beginning or you recognized its power. And so it's that emotional connection that you can have. And, you know, there are very few brands actually, when we think right today, that I have an emotional connection with who are bigger. I actually think we're going to see a new generation of people through this period of time, and small businesses where we are in a different, we've got a caring consumer, whether it's for the environment, for individuals, where we care about what we're consuming in terms of even consuming a fitness class from an individual like you, not a brand logo. And I think that that is going to actually ignite a new wave of brands that maybe our children will see in the future, where they can say people scaled with purpose and with connection. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch, isn't it? And I possibly think it's going to be founders at the forefront of that. You know, if you believe in someone who's still building a little bit of an empire, but you can see their face and you know that they're not going to do something on your watch, that is what's going to be a very powerful thing. I don't think we've ever experienced it.
No. I mean, so essentially, there's a power shift.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. And so again, going through so many of the industries, not just fitness, that if you're aware that there's a power shift, you have to think to yourself, where is the power going to swing? And you have to be preparing for where it's going to swing next. If you're sitting at home going, I'm in a job that I reckon is going to be defunct in 5 years' time, and you're waiting for 5 years doing nothing, when it happens, you can't complain. You knew about it 5 years ago.
I'm with you. I have the same moments going, so what did you do? You know, you're in the, and I must say, I also had it same with some people, and I'm not doing a generalized statement here, but who potentially jobs were at risk or something through this period of time, and potentially they might have used this time of furlough to potentially do really lovely things. And don't get me wrong, that's really, really nice. But if you know that your job was, what are you doing to take control? Would you agree? I wanted to talk to you about this resilience and taking accountability. You know, we only have ourselves, don't we? It's that accountability. It's no good blaming anyone. I don't know. We don't get gold stars. Nothing happens. It's taking accountability that unless you create it, your health, your body, your mindset, your business, no one else is going to do it. And, you know, you must see this a lot through your industry, but would you say that actually fitness is empowering people to have that sort of strength of mind?
Yes, because again, people put too much onus on fitness changing their life. It won't.
Okay,
good. It will change your attitude to life. It will give you the ability, it will give you the tools and the strength and the fortitude and the health, obviously, to make changes that will affect your life. But people are thinking, oh, what? So if we go to the gym, it's going to make my job better or make me perform better. It will do, because if you're always lackadaisical, you've got no energy. If you get into a habit of working out, eating better, you'll carry yourself better. You have confidence in yourself. That shows. You'll go into work with a different attitude. You'll go, yeah, I'm here to be counted. And do you know why? Because I got up at 6 a.m. this morning, I did my workout, and I made breakfast, and I got the kids ready for school. I did all that before I got to work. What have you got for me? Let's do this. Yes. Rather than people who go, I got up 5 minutes before work, I've just put on my pants, I'm going. Yeah. No, it's this whole moment we're in right now is unique. No one's got a handle on where it's going now. So you have to be resilient to the fact that it could go left field again very, very quickly. So you have to be accountable to yourself. You can't put off getting in shape next year when you can do it now. You have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So with regards to your business, your career, anything you're doing, you're accountable. If I don't open the emails, if I don't respond to some of the messages, same as yourself. Yeah. If I don't have some sort of ability to stay accountable to what I'm doing, if I miss opportunity, I can't blame anyone else apart from myself.
Yeah.
Okay? I drop the ball all the time. It's the truth, isn't it? I drop the ball all the time. But what I try not to do is I try not to drop the big balls. Myself will know that I can't respond to every single message that comes on social media. And I'll make it known I can't do this, guys and girls. If I do, it's great. But I don't think I'm going to spend my life on social media, because I've got a family, I've got a little one, and I've got a circle that I want to have a real life with. But in your life, if you're someone who keeps dropping the ball and you're like, I can't get past this hump, then you need to just step back, look at what's important to you and focus on just that. But you have to understand, if you don't put the work in, you're not going to get the results. And that's with regard to anything, relationships, your career, your health. If you don't do the hard work or the work, you can't complain when things don't go your way. And there's no such thing as luck. It's just when preparation and opportunity cross. That's it. When it happens.
That's
Come on,
it.
people.
Yeah, it's like what we were just saying. This lady saying, and it's like, no, this This has been me thinking, it's like you building the gym. This has been like, well, you know what I'm thinking? It might not happen for about 5 years, but I'm going to start now and I'm going to start preparing. And so potentially people might think it's, oh, you just got a good break. Actually, you did the prep work. Richard, I got a load of comments here. At Colour Celebrations, sacrifice is essential. It sounds easy, but in practice, it's absolutely not. However, it is so effective and a complete game changer. Emma Giaclone Textiles, absolutely. And I think that kids see that sacrifice when they grow up, surrounded by my oh, absolutely. And I think the kids see the sacrifices I've made when they will grow up because they've been surrounded by my business, you know, and that is absolutely perfect. How Fine Designs, we all make choices. Sometimes it's hard running a business. It is so good to hear stories about how focus and sacrifice actually pays off in the end. Maninder Virdi, parents' weaknesses are what children need to see, as that is how they grow as people. The Maths Mum, lockdown has definitely pushed us to doing something more via digital. I gave 2 lectures in New York last week with my fluffy slippers on, whereas before it would have been a 2-day trip and childcare needed. I mean, it is really true. And Felt Creatives, you are making me think so differently, Richard.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, changing. It's one of the things I wanted to ask you. When you think about, you know, I've been doing these interviews, as I was saying, for 8 months now. I'd never, ever put myself in front of a camera ever in my life before I did my first interview. And, you know, we thought it was going to be 12 weeks. You know, that's what we all thought this was going to happen. And yet, through this entire period of uncertainty, in a way, as you said, new communities are forming, new colour is being brought to industries. You know, I'm seeing seedlings of ideas are coming because of this period of time. Consumers are absolutely changing their shopping habits to becoming more of a caring consumer. You know, so be it buying a fitness class, be it buying a gift, but be it buying food. You know, they're considering, potentially they've just got a little bit more time in their mind to actually do what they always wanted to do, but they never could because they were always missing the train to get to London, to get to wherever they were going. I'd love to know what your thinking comes out this period of time, and if you have hopes to what potentially fundamentally will change. Do you have like the thoughts of what you're seeing now and what you really hope will continue?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I think what I'm hoping for isn't just within the fitness industry, it's across all industries.
Yeah.
Because it's the digital age. We can't get away from it. So we might as well embrace it. And so what I would love to see is people who've gone, no, I'm scared to take that step forward. And so, obviously one of the people who made the message said about sacrifice is essential. Sacrifice is essential, but don't think it has to be self-sacrifice. Some people think about sacrifice as being the whole thing. No, sacrifice just might mean, for example, it might mean instead of having a whole packet of crisps, you're going to have half a packet of crisps.
Yes.
That's sacrifice. That's rather than having 3 biscuits, it might be 2 biscuits. That 1 biscuit is a sacrifice.
Yes.
So start with small sacrifices and get used to sacrificing until you can start getting to the big things. And before you know it, you go, I'm so used to sacrificing. Right, that relationship that I'm not happy with, I can walk now because I've got used. I've got my sacrifice muscle flexed now. I've been getting it stronger. Does that make sense? You want to start with the small things until you go, I'm so strong now, I can do this. It doesn't happen overnight. And it's the same with business. You have to make small bit sacrifices, health, small sacrifices, and it'll lead to the big things. What do I think can come out of all this? I think people are going to understand, business is going to understand that you can't oversell.
Yes.
I think a lot of business is going to go, hold on, we had this budget before. We spent this, we spent that, and we're going to just bombard the market. No, you can't do that now because everyone's had to jump on the same bandwagon at the same time.
Yes.
So suddenly
there's no space for it.
There you go. So you've got to be unique. You've got to be genuine. If you've got a brand that's genuine, that you have a face of, that you can go, actually, I'm buying from a person or a group of people that I believe in, those businesses will thrive. The big businesses will start having to go, hold on, we're losing traction here. we need to start employing people slightly lower down to talk to our customers for us, to aid us. Does that make sense?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think as a small business, I think all people should be thinking, what do I need to do? I need to get in front. Same as you just said, you've upskilled yourself to a point where you've got a successful podcast, and it's been a pleasure for me to be on here. But look at what you've had to do. And you haven't had to do it, you chose to do it.
Yeah.
But it helped you learn a whole new skill set. You have to keep getting in front of people and going, this is my product, but more importantly, this is me.
Yes.
The product's the same. There's 1,000 people selling this product, but there's only one of me. Do you want to buy from me or buy from them? It's your choice. And you have to keep it as blatant as that and as simple as that. Because fitness is very simple. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is jumping on the bandwagon now between the age of 22 and 50. And they're like, you know what? I look good, or I like being in the gym. I'm going to retrain. Fine. But as many people are coming into the industry as are leaving because they're walking in and going, oh, it's harder than I thought. I thought I'd just flex to show a few ab pictures or show my glutes. And I got clients. Oh, it's not work. Oh, we have to work for this. I'll go somewhere else, please. And that's what's happening. It's about the people.
You know what? It's the same in business. And I think you're right. You know, this is going to be this amazing thing where the power of the founder, you know, I've always said this, it's a Duracell battery of every company. And yet automation and algorithms and big business trying to be small sort of slightly sometimes took that over. And it was hard for the small person to get in there. Now what's happening is the power of that founder. It's David and Goliath, right? It is this thing that's happening where actually the bigger your marketing budget does not mean the bigger your punch. The bigger your C-suite of all these amazing individuals on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, it doesn't mean that the person who left uni or didn't even get A-levels or is not going to bite your ankles. You know, this is the time where I feel that the level playing fields, you know, everyone has gone to the same point. And now is the opportunity of small businesses, amazing founders, energy, passion, is going to be the winning source. And actually that will absolutely kick ass on any hundreds and thousands marketing budget that you might see in a newspaper or in a magazine advert. You know, it's now become 3D, it's become alive, and people need to understand that power. And when you think we're 1 in 400 trillion chances of being born, every human being, 1 in 400 trillion chances, you cannot miss that point that you've got something to say. It's what you think about it that's the interesting thing. It's your take on it, isn't it? And honestly, it really is that old adage about your attitude will determine your altitude. It's so true. What a good one.
I love that one. And it's one of those nuggets you go, actually, because business is so complex. And I'm such a strong believer in people being kind to each other. I know it's very old school. It's where I was brought up, but I would much rather spend time with someone who is going to pay me something, but help them, than boot that person to the left side to go with someone who's going to pay me. I'm like, no, just treat everyone the same. Be kind, because if you can share that, I mean, everyone's trying to move on and move up in their life. But if you can do it with kindness, people are more likely to stay with you, be loyal to you, and open doors for you. So while we go through this transitional period of some people going, oh, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, it's like, no, it's always been like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Yeah. Get on Philip Green's yacht. What are you talking about as well? You know, it's like, maybe over there, but actually that's about, it is out there. But also when you find, Richard, your community, it's not a dog-eat-dog world at all. It's actually, I'm going to lift you up as high as I can push you up. And then when you're up there, maybe you'll remember what I did, or maybe not, or maybe you can do that for the next person. And that is the new normal, I would say, of communities. You know, it's a really special thing. Tell me, Richard, how can everyone, so you run classes, can people join in? Tell me how the people who are discovering you right now can get in and, and train that flab that they might have.
Well, to be fair, if they're discovering me right now, shame on you. I've always been here.
Hang on a minute, you're getting into the over the 5% we're talking about here. Come on.
Well then, Hi, 5%ers. How you doing? No, hey, honestly, I've been blessed to be able to work with some amazing people. So, I mean, I've got an online program for women where I'm trying to empower women to sort of be responsible, be accountable for what they're doing. It's called, my surname is obviously Callender, and so it's called Calendar Girls.
Love it. Love
See what I
it.
did there?
It is good. I get that. It's very good.
So, yeah, I mean, so I run like two campaigns, well, two different types of campaigns. I've got one called CG Ignite, which is 30 days of us training, working hard. I've got some top presenters and fitness people working and giving you lots of workouts. But I've got another one called 50 Days of Her. So I came up with it 3 years ago. And my belief is inside every woman is an inner her screaming to get out. So it's that time when you go, oh, I'm yo-yoing. Your inner her saying, put that down and don't do that. For every decision you make, you've got that little her that says, don't do this. No, you're going to hurt us. And too many people nowadays, too many women nowadays don't listen to their inner her, their instinct, their primal state. And so for 50 days, we do lots of healthy eating. We train. We do lots of amazing classes online. They're all as part of a library. But we do live chats. And I have a thing called, hopefully you'll like this, it's called eagle mentality. It's called eagles versus ducks. So straight away in the group, I'm always talking about ducks. Now, my analogy is this. When you have a group of anyone come together, if some people aren't having a good day, they tend to go, meh, 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 and people tend to go, yeah, me too, meh, meh, and it becomes a big cesspit of this negativity. I call that being a duck. It means you're walking around just going quack, 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 and you attract other ducks who quack with you. As part of my campaign, I'm like, no, I want you to think less like a duck and more like an eagle. Now, an eagle is quiet. It spreads its wings and it just soars. So what I'm trying to get the ladies in the group to do is to think, before I touch something down, before I put it out there, before I think it, am I being a duck? Yes, I am. I won't do that. I'm going to step back. I'm going to focus on doing what I need to do. And I'm going to take a small step towards being an eagle. And every time I do that, I'm going to leave a breadcrumb for other eagles. And that's the analogies we use within the campaign. So that hopefully, well, we've got t-shirts called Eagle Mentality. We've sold hundreds. And because the women are like, actually, yeah, I've got the eagle mentality now. And we've also had, I think 2 ladies had tattoos done of eagles.
Oh my, that's when you know you made it.
Yeah, I was like, seriously.
This is it.
Yeah, at the end of each campaign, I organise a photo shoot for the top 12 ladies who've achieved. So it's not all physical. It's some people who might have been in a social situation or in a mentally dark place, who at the end of their 50 days will go, actually, this is what I've achieved over the past 50 days. And we pick 12 ladies, because it's 12, and we do a big photo shoot. And it's like you have some physical changes, some mental changes, and some social changes. And for me, it's just about giving back and having fun. And so that's
wow.
What we do.
I thought I loved analogies. I found my counterpart. You and me, our trees and roots, our eagles and ducks. Yeah, I mean, we could just sit and do that. I mean, I love that, by the way. You are so right. I'm not going to forget so many of these things. Listen, I'm going to now summarize you and make you blush. So I'm going to let you go. But can I just say thank you? It's been such a pleasure to meet you. And you are frigging cool. And God, you've got me thinking, and I'm sure this community thinking. This is all going to be cut onto IGTV and then into the podcast. But bless you for being with us today. And I wish you everything. I mean, I actually think this is 20, you know, when they say just the beginning, you know, I sometimes feel that, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm 43, but I still feel like I've got the just beginning coming along. And I think that this is going to happen for you. So I wish you everything, Richard. Oh,
thank you. Hey, honestly, well done for all the things you've been doing. Your podcast, I was watching one with June the other day, and just some amazing people. So keep doing what you're doing. Well done. Thanks for having me. And you never know, this new upskill you've got of yours, when you have a TV show, remember me. I won't take up too much space on the sofa, but remember me. Got ya. Got ya. Lots of love, Richard. Hey. Yes, take care. Thank you to everyone. Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye. My goodness, what a gentleman. He's got like a crystal ball or something going on here. I would love to tell you that I just think that is one of the best interviews of this series. Wouldn't you agree? I cannot believe some of Richard's nuggets of gold. And that's because he has done that plus 20 years to be here.
It doesn't just come overnight. Your skill, your diamond, the golden thread that you see when you're a child, and all the things that you've built up to this very moment that you're watching this, that is the reason. You need to find your diamond. Richard found his diamond. He knew that because his family were from teaching, he knew that teaching was going to be in him. And hasn't he given us so many brilliant lessons today? He knew that he wanted to design his life. He was going to take it into his own hands. And that is what you can see there. He's just quite magical. Didn't you feel that? A really magical person. Accountability is something that he hammered home for all of us. You have to focus and you have to sacrifice. I think that word sacrifice came up a lot here. We need to make sure that we help our children understand of sacrifice. Poor Harry, he's going to hear it tonight. And crucially, you have to prepare. You know, he's sitting in that gym, and you know, we can all look at that going, look, he's got a gym. 10 years ago, he put that gym in. 10 years ago, he probably couldn't afford to put that gym in. But he did that. And that was the foresight he had to prepare. We must prepare. Think about those things. So the examples I gave you, some of the things I hope to launch next year, has been 5 years in the making. Actually, one of them has been 11-ish years in the making, has been in there for 11 years. And there are also doors everywhere, but we cannot be like this. We have to be up. We have to be up and proud and looking around for our doors. So every time we're on the floor, every time we're beaten down, we look for the doors. And what did he say? What's this brilliant word Richard has taught us? Breadcrumbs. Leave breadcrumbs. Every door you go through, leave breadcrumbs. Who's going to pick up those breadcrumbs? We don't know. It could be someone disadvantaged. It could be somebody who's in business. And yeah, I'm going to be kicked off in a minute. It's telling me luck is what you make. It's hard work. Think of ducks, think of eagles. Join Richard on his Instagram. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. I love this. Thank you, Dell, for letting me do this. It's amazing. I'm going to miss it so much. So I better go and design something that means I can do it much more. But sending you all my love. Thank you again, Richard, and lots of love. Be more eagle, not duck. No, quack, quack.